In my experience, it's impossible to niche down too far if you find the right audience with a problem that's not being solved. So, when a lot of people think that they're not getting clients because their niche is too small, the real issue is that they picked a problem that just wasn't itchy enough. It wasn't a poison ivy problem. So let me explain. I had a client that was really having a tough time with getting specific about the problem her business was solving. She was a career coach, and when we looked at her expertise and her experience and the testimonials that really stood out, it was clear that her superpower was helping people make dramatic career transformations, like from accounting to professional singer. Okay, but she was feeling a lot of resistance because she thought that there wouldn't be enough clients, that people would like go look at her website and then click away and not even talk to her if she was that specific about who she wanted to work with. So, I want to show you how we managed to define her focus area while leaving some wiggle room in a way that she could feel like she was taking on less risk. So, today I want to talk about exactly how we did that and how you can avoid that FOMO feeling when it comes to finding your focus area and narrowing down your niche. Okay, so let's dive in. I'm Laura Zovelson, and this is the GenXpert Show, where we talk about capitalizing on your expertise and experience to build a business as a coach, consultant, or independent expert so you can finally be the one in control of your time, your impact, and your financial future. So, if you're thinking all this niching advice is limiting your business and potentially pushing clients away, this episode is for you because by the end of today's video, you'll have actionable strategies to evaluate your niche. Actually, three criteria you can use so you can compare different areas that you're thinking about. And so you can feel confident that you've right sized your niche and that there's real opportunity in front of you. Okay, so let's get right into that fear around being too small or being too specific. So, a lot of entrepreneurs worry that niching down too far will alienate potential clients or limit their opportunities. They think, well, if my audience is too small, I'm going to run out of clients. I'm not going to be able to grow. Well, here's the reality. Niching actually is not about boxing yourself in. It's about creating clarity. And when you're clear about who you help and what problem you solve, the right clients will find you. And there's usually more of them than you think. So let's back up to my client's story. She was so worried about running out of clients if she narrowed her focus to dramatic career transformations. The idea of working with people who were just trying to make those big pivots, it just felt too risky to her, like she was closing herself off from a larger audience. But here's the thing, she wasn't realizing the strength of what she already had. Her expertise, her success stories, and the clients who raved about her were all pointing to the same thing. That dramatic career transformation was her sweet spot. And so by not leaning into it, she was actually diluting her message and confusing her potential audience, right? So, what we did was we reframed her thinking. And instead of seeing this as limiting her options, we positioned it as her superpower. So, yes, she could help people with a lot of career related issues, but this was the one that she really wanted to be known for. So, can you go too big or too small with your niche? Does it even matter? Well, absolutely. And it can really impact the amount of time it takes for you to create enough leads to get your business going. So, here's a couple of the most common mistakes that I see. First, don't make the mistake of confusing your business focus with your product. So, your business niche actually should be big enough to have some sub problems. It's kind of like an umbrella. If your umbrella niche is helping entrepreneurs grow, then maybe your sub problems are marketing or sales or building funnels, whatever. But your program or whatever you're selling should be laser focused on one of those. And even better yet, probably a more targeted problem in one of those areas. Now, another mistake is jumping into marketing your program or your business without critically evaluating or testing it, which we are going to talk about later in the show. And what I mean is picking something that you're passionate about, but you haven't checked to see whether or not it's a poison ivy problem to make sure that it's itchy enough that people are actually willing to pay for a solution. Finally, I suppose it is possible to niche down so far that you hurt your business. For instance, I work with someone who is a virtual assistant who is trying to build a business around serving boutique accounting firms. I don't really think niche size was the real problem, though. There's plenty of solo accounting firms, but she didn't get clear enough on what their itchy need was and then create a solution around that so they were willing to buy. By far, the more common problem is trying to be everything to everyone. So here's what happens when you're just starting, you pick an area that you're interested in, and that's the first piece of the puzzle. But that's what you want. So the next piece of the puzzle is going beyond what you want and finding out what your prospective clients want. And when you start having those conversations, you're thinking about what your business is actually going to shift. And that's normal and it's actually completely necessary. And at that point, what we want to do is critically evaluate that learning that's going on and figure out whether or not that intersection of our interest and the focus area, as I call it, the person and the problem that they have, has the potential to be a profitable business. So, what I want to talk about now is three ways that you can actually evaluate your niche to make sure that you're right sizing it and that you have a real business opportunity here. So, the first one is making sure that you're picking a substantial enough problem that it's got some sub problems. So, again, your business is focused on sort of the umbrella problem, and then we focus our products under the sub problems. So, if you've gone so small that there's no sub problems left, that you might want to bring your business focus up a little bit. But again, the vast majority of challenges I see in this area, mistakes I see in this area, are people going too big, not people going too small. Okay, the next thing we want to look at is the revenue potential. Can your niche support your financial goals? Are the people in this audience willing and able to pay for solutions to their problems? And, sometimes this can be challenging because a lot of us want to help people that may not be able to support our business. And the reality is that you've got to pick an area where people can pay you enough to stay in business because otherwise you're not going to be able to help anyone. Okay. And then the last piece, and this is so important, is do you enjoy it? All right. Do you actually enjoy working with the people in your niche? If you don't connect with them, your business is very quickly going to feel like a grind instead of a business that you love. So, right now, just take a moment, pause the video if you need to, write down your niche and a few focus areas that you've been thinking about, and then evaluate each of them against the criteria. Um, which ones feel the strongest, and which ones do you think will maybe do a little bit more research? Okay, so now that you've evaluated each of those focus areas that you've been thinking about, our next step is to test it out. So, the first thing is to maybe do some market listening. Look for conversations in forums or Facebook groups, LinkedIn discussions, Reddit. Are the people in your niche actively talking about the problem you want to solve? Okay, so you find the group that kind of has people in it that are in your general focus area, sort of the general person you want to help. Go in there and see if there's people asking questions about the problem that you want to solve. That's a really good sign that there's a there. The next thing you want to do is that if people seem to have the problem that you want to solve, you might want to test it by throwing up some potential solutions, right? You could run a workshop and offer it to those people you found who had that problem. You could just offer some advice online for them and see if they respond. Ultimately, what we're looking for is getting people to raise their hand and say, yeah, I have that problem and I am looking for a solution. And then you can look at what resonates. And then that's how you know that you're getting closer to a business that has the potential to be sustainable. The last thing I want you to remember is that your niche doesn't have to be static. So sometimes your audience will find you. And as you work with more clients, the true shape of your niche will emerge. Many successful entrepreneurs started with one idea and they refine it as they grow. So don't worry about getting it perfect on the first try. What we really just want to do is identify a person and a specific enough problem. So when we make our offers, we're not trying to reach everybody on the planet. We're trying to reach a findable group that we can get a product started and get people buying from us and starting to bring in some revenue so our businesses can survive. So let me finish up on my client's story. So what we did is we left her business description much more broad as career coaching for experienced professionals. But we created her first program around a very specific focus area and transformation. major career changes for mid career professionals. And that way, she felt comfortable that she was still leaving the door open to consult with a broad range of referrals while focusing her outreach on her very targeted and differentiated program. And now, as her business grows and she gets stronger referral channels, she can choose to go bigger around major career changes, or she can shift if the market is consistently sending her different kinds of clients. One online coach, Laura Portier, she's known for her system of teaching social media advertising. And she tells a story that she started her business around brick and mortar social media advertising. But over time, she realized that the majority of her business was coming from people with online only businesses. So she reimagined her business focus area around those clients, and she's made millions of dollars doing that. This happens all the time. So while I recommend that your products have a very specific transformation and focus area, it's okay if your business stays a little broader, especially in the beginning when everything is still taking shape. Does that make sense? The difference between a niche and a focus area or a vision for your business versus one for your product or your program? If you have any questions about it, you can just leave them for me in the comments. So let me do a couple rapid fire, frequently asked questions about niching. Okay. First, how do I know if my niche is too broad? Look, if your audience can't immediately tell who you help and what problem you solve, it's too broad. The second one, can I change my niche later? Absolutely. Your niche is a starting point. It's not a lifelong commitment. It's really normal for your niche to evolve as your business gets more mature. Yeah. Can my bees can my business niche be different than my product niche? Um, yeah, this is what we've been talking about, right? One is really kind of a subset of the other one. Your business can be broader than the niche for the individual products, as in fact, it probably should. But your program should definitely be super specific about the problems that they solve. How do I pick between two niches? Well, let's say you've got it narrowed down to two, and they're similar in terms of having enough subproblems, similar in terms of willingness to pay, and the poison ivy. Go with the enjoyment factor. Which business will you enjoy building more? Because when things get challenging, and they usually do at some point, that's what's going to keep you going. Okay, here's a big one. What if I feel like I'm going to be leaving money on the table if I cut out serving certain kinds of clients? Look, here's the truth. When you try to speak to everybody, nobody listens. A focused niche is going to help you stand out and attract the right clients. That differentiation, I cannot stress this enough, is so, so important, especially if your primary sales channel is online. Okay, last one. Won't my niche limit me too much? No, absolutely not. Use your niche to create clarity, not constraints. Use it as a starting point to build your authority and get recognized and known, and then you can expand later. So, what I hope you're going to take away from today is that your niche is not a box that traps you, it's actually a launch pad for everything that you're going to offer. So if you're trying to decide between two, three, five niches, your best bet is to evaluate it based on the size of the problem, its revenue potential, and really, are you going to enjoy solving this problem for this group of people, right? And remember, your niche is going to evolve as you take action, as your business grows, and as you listen to your audience. So, look, I talk more about how to pick your focus area and test it in the Gen X Escape Plan because it's one of the three steps on the roadmap to building your business. So, the link is in the description and you can go ahead and download your free copy now. If this episode helped you think differently about niching, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of the Gen Expert Show. Bye.